Hello everyone and welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. This is Cassie. Today we're going to be making a pillow box gift holder and I'll show you what we're using to make that. This is the pillow gift box die. It's brand new. I love it. It has great dies. We're also going to be using the City Lights layering stencil, and then we're going to be using the Nightscapes scene builder and the matching dies that go along with it. This will be fun. So let's jump into it. I have already cut out my pillow box. I used a hunter green color. I just thought that would be pretty. Try something a little bit different with our night sky. And then I'm going to pull out the stencil that I want to use, which is the smaller of the buildings. This would typically go in the front of the other one because this is a 2 stencil. It's like a layering stencil. And I'm going to just take some masking tape and put that down at the bottom to mask off the bottom. You'll see why, and then I'll put a little bit on the back. But I will still have to kind of hold this in place. Pixie spray would probably work really well also to hold this down. But I'm going to bring in a blending buddy. And then I'm going to bring in some distress ink in the color Black Soot. It works really well on these dark cardstocks. And then it'll just make that, obviously the night scene look like a night scene. So we'll just keep blending that across, and I'm kind of going up and down motions so I don't move those tiny parts of the stencil. It did shift a little bit, but that's why I still needed to hold this in place. And I put that masking tape right along the score line of the box. So I'll just make sure we have a nice crisp black line, and I do. So I'll peel that tape away, and then we're going to take the stencil and do it on here as well. That way there's like a continuous scene going on with this whole box when it's all closed up. I'm shifting that around, and then I'll just do my best to hold that in place. But the die, the ink on the back is sort of wet, so it's not holding perfectly. That's okay. We'll keep working with it. So again, we'll blend on this back part of the box using that same Black Soot. And blending it up and down, because like I said, some of those lines are really skinny, and if you do like a circular motion, you can move them. So going up and down works just fine. And then you'll notice with this stencil, you could put lights on the buildings. I actually don't do that. I decide not to. So we're only using part of the stencil, but there are lots of possibilities with this one. So there you see it, and there's also fingerprints, but Splatter. Splatter is going to be the fixer here. So I'm going to block off the bottom. I don't know why, honestly. I guess I'm trying not to get splatter on parts of it. But I did want to show you that here comes Miles. The boys do come in here from time to time, but it often seems when I'm trying to do something wet, and I don't need a cat with splatter or want a cat with splatter all over him, because he'll just carry that everywhere with him. So I'm going to splatter that on that upper part, trying to avoid the buildings a little bit. But that's not like my major concern. I want this to look like stars in the background. So if there are a few that get on the buildings, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I just want it to be, or snow. It could be snow as well. And then I'm going to set that off to the side to dry, and I'll clean up my mess. And then we'll bring in that Nightscapes scene builder stamp. And we're going to have Santa, of course. So I will put that into my Misti, and then I'm going to bring out some Blackout ink and ink this up a couple times because I want to make sure that I have a nice crisp image. So we'll stamp that down. That's why the Misti is so handy for something like this. Not necessary, but definitely handy. And then stamp it again. And then we'll pull that out, and we'll bring in our matching die to go along with it. And I'll tack that down with a little bit of tape and run that through my die cutting machine. But I also cut out the star that comes in the pillow gift box die, and I do it twice because I want to layer them, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So I cut it out twice, but I did it on the front of this glitter cardstock, and then I did it on the back, so that way I can line them up perfectly, and it'll be glitter on the front and glitter on the back, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So there you go. My idea with the star was to make it a tag, so I do bring in the Holiday Tag Helper stamp set, and I grab out one of the 2 froms and stamp that onto some white cardstock. I need to trim that down, so I'll put that into my guillotine trimmer and just go ahead and trim that down a little bit. And then we're going to take some liquid glue and adhere that to the front of one of those stars. Foam tape would work really well here as well, but we're just going to use the liquid glue, let that kind of dry. While that's drying, I am going to glue down our Santa. I love the white border on him. It makes him pop even more on that background because it is a dark background. I wanted to do a night sky, but I didn't want the traditional like dark blue. So that's why I decided on hunter green, and I think it's fun. I'm going to bring in some twine. This was just kind of sitting on my desk. It is a little bit thick. I actually recommend something a little less thick. And then I'm going to put some 1/4 inch tape down on the back of the star. We will attach our twine to it, and then we're going to sandwich it in between the tape. So I'll put one more piece down. Make sure that's really on there because I don't want this coming off. And then we'll peel back that release paper, and then to attach our other star, I'm going to use liquid glue as well. So that way this isn't going anywhere. It's going to be nice and sturdy. So when in doubt, use both. So while that's doing that, I'm going to cut this down. I want this tag to hang off. At first I thought I could tie it around. You could, you absolutely could. But I decide I want it to be a part of the box. Just make it that much simpler. And so I am going to go ahead and fold all along all the score lines that the die provided. Get this box ready to go so that way when I am, it'll just happen. Deciding where I want that string to go. And I decide I'm going to put it on the outside. So I'll grab out that same tape. It's a 1/4 inch tape. And I'll attach it all along that flap. We'll peel back that release paper, and then we're going to attach our twine to it. I'm going to see if that's too long. Yep, plenty long. So I'm going to peel that up and make it a little shorter. And then we'll do the same process. I'm going to sandwich it. And like I said, this is a fairly thick piece of twine, so I definitely recommend something a little less thick. You'll have less problem. But even with as thick as it was, this is sticking. So I'll peel off that release paper. And then once again, we're going to bring in that liquid glue because I don't want this coming apart. And then we'll start folding everything up. You will need to hold it for a little bit. You want to make sure that that stays. So I'm just kind of putting lots of pressure on it for a minute or so. And then once I'm secure, I'm feeling like it's secure, I can close it up. And that's going to finish off our pillow box gift holder. You could put earrings in here, a gift card, a little necklace, anything small. Some candy, that'd be great. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.